What's up? What's up? What's up, G's? It's Brandon here. Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock, post market update. We have rallied. We have indices. We have NQ sitting around 12,600. We have ES tapped out at 40.65 and falling. It looks like we're having a little bit of a pullback after market. You guys know exactly what this is about. We can see from the 10-year Treasury bond yield that it's just being very, very unpredictable and being unstable. We can see that in the price action of NQ and the rest of the indices and Apple markets and everything like that. We have our favorite spokesperson, Janet Yellen, the Secretary of the Treasury, just flapping her gums, saying all kinds of crazy crap as we come to expect. Her words mean absolutely nothing. Let's get right into it. Here's 10-year yields. We have a bit of a pullback after market, just with everything else. We're at 3.315%. I mean, it's just getting out of control, folks. We all know where this ends. We have a rally in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency markets. Bitcoin's back up around 21,230 currently. I expect quite a bit of a pullback, especially on Ethereum and other altcoins, but Bitcoin has the whole market cap. SPY here, it's at 406. We peaked out at 407.4, having a bit of a retracement at the last minute here. It's currently 4:02 p.m. So we're right at market close. We're just seeing what's the carnage that's been left behind here. And this short-term bullish market movement doesn't negate our bearish overall sentiment. I mean, I've said this. I said this yesterday. I can see a rally of 4,200 on ES in the next few weeks, irrespective of what everything else has been going on. All right. Yeah, let's dive into this other stuff here. We can see here about news about the European Central Bank. I believe they're going to be rolling out more stimulus in some areas. I know the central bank and the International Monetary Fund are still doing quantitative easing in certain countries like Spain and I believe the Netherlands or Sweden. I can't remember exactly. It's all a fugazi, folks. They can ship money around the world wherever, whenever they want, and print it out of thin air, even though they say they're not. It's quite remarkable that we've allowed this to happen for decades and no one's done anything about it. Again, what can people do? Not much, I guarantee you. The ECB said on Friday the governing council has not discussed either the substance or the timing of any future quantitative tightening. Bingo. Let's listen to Janet Yellen here for a second and see what she has to say. A little clip.
As we look to the fall and the months beyond, our administration is ready to build on the achievements of the past year.
Don't you have faith in our country?
The most immediate challenge, of course, is to return to an environment of stable prices without sacrificing the economic gains of the past 2 years. To ensure our long-term economic stability, we must keep our public finances on a sound footing. and will build on the momentum of the Inflation Reduction Act's corporate tax reforms to advocate for additional reforms of our tax code and the global tax system, which includes closing loopholes and returning tax rates for high earners and corporations toward historical norms. By making everyone pay their fair share, these reforms will provide
their fair
our
share? What about your
with
fair share?
additional fiscal room to make critical investments.
You can print $20 trillion out of thin air, and you expect people to pay the difference? It's literally, you can zero out every billionaire on Earth and still not cover the deficit, because when you create debt, there's no money to pay back the inflation. I'm sorry, the interest rate on the original debt. So you end up creating more debt. That's how velocity of money works. But we're supposed to follow this blindly. Look at this fucking cow.
To support sustainable, resilient growth. In the coming months, we expect to see significant movements of private capital into growing industries such as clean energy production and semiconductor fabrication.
That's the chip bill and the climate change shit. Now people in California can't even charge their electric vehicles, and they're dying in the heat because they can't charge. There's not enough power. We're going to see here in the coming days, especially in Nevada and other parts of California, you know, when Lake Mead dries up. I think we're only a few weeks away for the water levels to get so critical that they're shutting off power generation.
Coordinate permitting reform across the government to speed up these investments while upholding bedrock standards and laws. We also understand the importance of reliable and sustainable sourcing of raw materials and minerals, such as polysilicon, lithium, and cobalt, and iron and steel, as we build the chips, batteries, and infrastructure of the future. We especially understand the urgency of investing in and expanding America's most valuable economic asset, our workforce. Programs like free community college and expanded workforce training increase the productivity of our labor force. And we must invest in structural reform.
Yeah, the problem is there's not enough people. That's the simple issue. That's why you see all these abortion laws come into place. There's literally not enough people to replace the demand that was vacuously sucked out of the market with the pandemic, early retirement, and population decline. Because you have a boomer population that they call it the Great Retirement, where all these people are out of the workforce and then come back in part-time, and we look at all these numbers and nobody thinks through them and why. We can see this from Raoul Paul. He talks about this all the time. You think he would know what things are going on, but hey, I digress.
That increase our labor force participation rate. A large body of research shows that high-quality, affordable childcare and free preschool increase the odds that
let's
parents,
indoctrinate and brainwash your children,
participate in the workforce, and there are lasting benefits for the outcomes of their children. Lastly, we'll continue to pursue economic fairness. The policies I just outlined, from tax reforms to affordable childcare, are powerful tools to level the playing field. But there's more, and I believe it's a national imperative to improve the affordability of housing, and that will confer substantial health, social, and economic benefits on low and middle income families. Simply put, it should be easy, not hard, to put a roof over your head. even as the administration's policies
I'll never
prevented the
own property in the
tsunami
U.S.
of pandemic-related
I'm on a
evictions
fucking one-way ticket out of here. Fuck this place, bro.
we feared, we must continue advancing our coordinated government approach to expand the supply of housing. For all there's left to do, let me say this. After the progress we've made over the past few months, I am more optimistic about the course of our economy than I have been for quite a while, and I know we're headed in the right direction.
You heard it here, folks. Janet Yellen. Inflation's fixed. Don't worry about anything. I'm optimistic. What a fucking joke. The worst of the inflation we know is about to happen next year. This is a long-term downward cycle inflationary hyperbubble that we're breaking. These people have no fucking clue when they're in charge. Makes me sick. Makes me fucking... Anyway. So what do? Well, on an individual level, we still have to focus on skilling ourselves for the future. Developing recession-proof skill sets as far as, being able to speak, being able to write, being able to approach businesses. Biggest thing I think we need to take into consideration is taking control of our personal finances, having a baseline level of knowledge, of financial education that you just simply don't get. You have to seek it out. From this point forward, I expect, the U.S. markets to rally ES to around 4,200. In the more longer term, by next month, I believe, September, October, November, I believe by late November, we should be in the trough of our hyperbubble and economic collapse. I mean, that's what the Hearst cycle says. That's what all of our economic data says. Every indicator is pointing towards ruin in the next few months. We have the housing market collapse. We have vehicle, auto loan instability. I mean, right now we have 20 million households in the U.S. that can't even afford and keep up with their utility bills. That's with minimal increases in energy costs. Just wait until we hit the height of winter, when it really matters. I mean, you can see this in Europe, what's happening in the EU right now, in the UK. Energy costs have skyrocketed. Small businesses now have a $75,000 cap on their fucking energy heating bills. I mean, the stage is set, fellas. We know exactly what's going to happen, and we know exactly what we need to do to prepare. I just hope that, we're not too late. Anyways, keep it humble, guys. Keep working on yourselves. Do challenging shit every day, and never give up. Take care, guys.